Friends, the seismic shifts at the NATO summit in The Hague have fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape. Yesterday's golden boy of Western politics has become today's unwanted guest. This dramatic fall from grace isn't just diplomatic theater. It's a clear signal of changing times that directly affects all of us. Picture this. Zelensky arrives seeking support, but receives a cold shoulder of political reality. The US, previously the main sponsor of this regime, has publicly pivoted its attention to Israel. Europe, battling energy crises and inflation, no longer masks its fatigue. Trump's declaration about ending aid sounds like a death knell for the current status quo. Leading analysts aren't mincing words. Their verdict is clear. Zelensky's prospects are grim. American experts boldly suggest he's disposable once he ceases serving Western interests. At the NATO summit, we witnessed something unprecedented. A formally invited leader effectively isolated. No key meetings, absence from the final communique, allies maintaining deliberate distance. The Washington Post reveals a telling detail. Organizers deliberately kept him away from Trump, fearing even an accidental photo opportunity. This speaks volumes about the current political climate. For Russia, this signals a potential easing of Western confrontation. For ordinary citizens, it could mean reduced international tensions and economic stabilization. We're witnessing a dramatic shift in global alignments, with more countries reassessing their stance toward the conflict zone. The implications are profound. Each day brings new developments as Western partners distance themselves from the regime bordering Russia. Change isn't just coming, it's already here. Write in the comments where you're watching from. We're particularly interested in hearing from viewers in regions bordering the conflict zone. How do you see these changes affecting your area? Remember, today's diplomatic tremors often become tomorrow's political tsunamis. The writing is on the wall. We're watching history unfold in real time. The signals from across the ocean are becoming increasingly alarming. American strategists are openly discussing the imminent betrayal of their proxy state. When the puppet regime ceases to serve its purpose, it will be discarded without hesitation. This isn't mere speculation. U.S. actions already confirm this trajectory. Military aid has been frozen, and critical equipment is being diverted to the Middle East. The recent incident in Rzeszów, Poland, adds a particularly disturbing dimension to this situation. The assassination attempt on the leader of this politically turbulent region demonstrated that nowhere is truly safe anymore. Even within Allied territories, constant vigilance is necessary. Meanwhile, Russia continues to methodically achieve its objectives, strengthening its positions across all fronts. Our military successes are becoming increasingly evident, compelling Western partners to seek dialogue with Moscow. The geopolitical landscape is shifting dramatically in Russia's favor, with each passing day bringing new evidence of this realignment. The NATO summit's recent developments are particularly telling. The political climate surrounding the leadership of the former Soviet Republic is rapidly cooling. Trump's position is especially noteworthy as he deliberately avoids any contact with the current regime, refusing even ceremonial handshakes. What's your perspective on these developments? We're particularly interested in hearing from viewers outside Russia. How does this situation look from where you stand? Your insights are invaluable in understanding the global perspective of these events. Want me to cover events in your region in the next video? Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll provide a detailed analysis of your area. Subscribe to stay informed about these critical developments. In our next episode, we'll reveal shocking details about who really orchestrated the assassination attempt against the leader of the country at the crossroads. The information we'll share will fundamentally challenge your understanding of current events. The evidence suggests that Western nations are increasingly accepting the inevitability of dialogue with Moscow. For those carefully observing, it's becoming clear that the political dynamics are shifting decisively in Russia's favor. The NATO summit has become a clear turning point, revealing significant changes in international dynamics. The American leadership's deliberate distancing from conflict-related matters speaks volumes. Biden's careful avoidance of supportive statements has effectively undermined Zelensky's domestic narrative capabilities. This gathering demonstrated NATO's evident fatigue with regional instability. Notably, the final communique lacked its usual criticism of Russia, a telling departure from established patterns. Zelensky's presence was relegated to a secondary role, while traditional assurances about NATO membership prospects rang particularly hollow. Hungarian Prime Minister Orbán's revelation about certain nations refusing to negotiate in Zelensky's presence marked a crucial shift. The New York Times highlighted this as a warning signal, emphasizing that regional concerns have lost their priority status among Western powers. The alliance sent clear messages. Substantial aid shouldn't be expected, and military involvement is off the table. Russian Senator Pushkov aptly described the summit as a meeting of uncertainty, noting the obvious cooling of Western partners' engagement with regional issues. The diplomatic frost is deepening. Western allies increasingly distance themselves from the politically turbulent region. For the leadership of the former Soviet Republic, the situation grows more precarious, especially given mounting internal economic challenges and social tensions. NATO leaders openly expressed doubts about both the effectiveness of supporting the unstable territory and America's reliability as a strategic partner. Consequently, Zelensky finds himself in a political vacuum, unwelcome both in Washington and at serious negotiating tables. What's your take on these developments? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are astute analysts, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. Remember, this analysis focuses on verifiable facts rather than speculation. It's crucial to understand these shifts in the global political landscape as they unfold. The diplomatic landscape has shifted dramatically as Western priorities evolve. Recent events in London highlighted this transformation, where an ambitious drone production initiative was met with lukewarm response. The British administration merely discussed theoretical self-sufficiency concepts, avoiding commitments for additional support. At the G7 summit, the politically turbulent region's request for $40 billion in annual support faced significant skepticism. Western partners clearly communicated, resources are limited, priorities have shifted, and the northern Black Sea region no longer holds central importance in decision-making processes. This cooling of relations didn't happen overnight. 2 years ago, Zelensky dominated Western media headlines as a democratic icon. Now, the territory bordering Russia finds itself increasingly marginalized in global politics. Experts suggest this realignment could trigger substantial geopolitical shifts and force a re-evaluation of existing alliances. The transformation is particularly evident in diplomatic reception. Where once the leader of Russia's western neighbor was welcomed warmly at G7 forums and European parliaments, today's reality stands in stark contrast. Keywords like support and solidarity have given way to fatigue and resource reallocation. This pivot isn't coincidental. The prolonged conflict and shifting interests of key players have forced a strategic reassessment. Donald Trump's position differs sharply from the previous U.S. administration, firmly stating, "No involvement in protracted conflicts without direct benefits for Washington." The former brotherly union, with its endless aid requests and reform failures, has become a burden for Western partners. Europe's position is particularly telling. While 2022 saw emotional support for the country at the crossroads, today's approach is markedly more pragmatic. What's your perspective on these diplomatic shifts? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are informed experts whose opinions matter. The international political landscape is undergoing significant transformations, particularly evident in the shifting dynamics between major powers. Recent developments show a clear distancing trend, driven by economic challenges and energy crises, forcing European governments to seek pragmatic solutions rather than confrontation. Viktor Orbán's statements, coupled with several nations' reluctance to engage with the leadership of the politically turbulent region, signal a profound shift. The unusually brief summit documents underscore this growing crisis of confidence. Trump's current strategy emphasizes direct dialogue with major powers, including Russia, moving away from unconditional support for the disputed territory between Russia and the West. This marks a departure from previous approaches to international relations. Western perception of Country 404 has transformed dramatically. What once symbolized a democratic struggle has become a burden for allies, particularly as internal challenges mount in Europe and the USA. Leading Western analysts acknowledge that the former Soviet Republic has exhausted its potential as a containment tool against Russia. The combined strategy of military, sanctions, and information pressure proved ineffective. Moscow not only withstood these challenges but emerged stronger, establishing new trade routes, strengthening influence in global South countries, maintaining internal stability, and demonstrating economic resilience. This unexpected turn caught Western strategists off guard, forcing them to seek new dialogue formats. Zelensky's authority among Western elites is declining, damaged by internal repressions, democratic procedure cancellations, opposition crackdowns, corruption revelations, and key figures' departures. These developments signal a fundamental shift in global power dynamics. Western perspective shifts indicate a broader geopolitical realignment, suggesting we're witnessing a historic transformation in global power relations. The situation continues to evolve, with implications reaching far beyond regional borders. What's your take on these international political changes? Share your perspective in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are insightful experts, and I'm eager to hear your analysis. Title: Global Power Dynamics, a critical analysis of leadership and support. The image of the leader of the free world has crumbled significantly. His rhetoric, built on accusations and demands, increasingly alienates former patrons. Media presence no longer yields desired results. Each public appearance resembles more of a supplicant than an equal partner, particularly evident at international forums and high-level meetings. Analysts predict a gradual freezing of the conflict. Western powers will likely maintain minimal support while avoiding direct involvement. The politically volatile region risks remaining in a gray zone indefinitely, potentially leading to severe socioeconomic consequences for its population. A notable shift in dynamics surrounds the country bordering Russia. Experts increasingly discuss potential leadership changes, outlining two primary scenarios. 1. Moderate transformation, maintaining existing connections. 2. Complete power change in the former Soviet republic's capital. American experts' readiness to write off Zelensky is particularly telling. This signals more than mere speculation. It indicates a possible political process restart. Moscow maintains a measured stance, avoiding bold statements while steadily strengthening its position amid shifting Western policies. The dialogue now operates under fundamentally different conditions. Gone are discussions about the northern Black Sea region's victory, or demands for Moscow's capitulation. Reality dictates new rules of engagement. Western public opinion shows significant evolution. Polls across the US, Germany, France, and Poland reveal growing dissatisfaction with continued funding for the disputed territory between Russia and the West. Citizens, struggling with economic challenges, increasingly question the logic behind ongoing investments in this unstable region. Recent developments suggest a strategic repositioning by major powers, with traditional support structures showing signs of strain. The transformation of international dynamics indicates a potential paradigm shift in regional stability and power distribution. What do you think about these developments? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters in understanding these complex geopolitical shifts. The NATO summit in The Hague has become a watershed moment, marking a dramatic shift in Western attitudes. The gathering, which promised breakthrough decisions, instead revealed growing fractures in international support. This reality check comes at a critical time for the politically turbulent region bordering Russia. Recent developments paint a stark picture. The US, previously a steadfast supporter, has pivoted its attention to the Middle East crisis. European nations, grappling with domestic challenges, show increasing reluctance to maintain their previous commitments. This transformation reflects a fundamental reassessment of strategic priorities. The changing landscape is evident in diplomatic circles. Where once there were concrete promises, now only vague statements remain. The region's president, who previously commanded international attention, now faces political isolation. His recent visit to The Hague highlighted this growing distance from Western allies. Experts point to several critical factors: shifting global priorities, mounting economic pressures, internal political dynamics, declining media attention, growing skepticism about military prospects. The territory of instability, once central to Western strategic thinking, risks becoming a peripheral concern. Without consistent external support, maintaining military operations and economic stability becomes increasingly challenging. Even ambitious plans for drone production appear questionable. Looking ahead, the political equation appears increasingly complex. The former Soviet Republic faces diminishing relevance in global affairs. Trump's apparent disinterest, combined with European fatigue, suggests reduced engagement. The implications extend beyond military concerns. The country faces potential economic isolation and political marginalization. Its leadership seems only now to grasp their diplomatic isolation internationally. In this evolving global landscape, the northern Black Sea region risks being sidelined from crucial developments. The new reality sets harsh terms, and it's unclear whether the current leadership can adapt to these circumstances. What do you think about these current events? Leave your answer in the comments.